Have you ever noticed how your mind can replay the same thought over and over again? A conversation from earlier in the day, something you said, or maybe something you wish you had said differently. You analyze it from every angle, imagining different outcomes, different reactions, different possibilities. And even though you know it probably doesn't matter as much as it feels like it does, your mind keeps returning to it. This is what many people call overthinking. But what if overthinking isn't actually a flaw in your mind? What if it's simply your brain following a pattern it learned a long time ago? A pattern I like to call the inner algorithm. Overthinking isn't just thinking too much. It's the mind trying to solve a problem that doesn't really have a clear answer. Your brain begins analyzing possibilities. What if this happens? What if that goes wrong? What if people think something negative about me? Each thought creates another branch of possibilities. And before you realize it, your mind has built an entire network of imagined outcomes. The strange part is, most of these outcomes will never happen, yet your brain continues running the simulation anyway. The human brain evolved to keep us safe. Thousands of years ago, constantly analyzing situations helped humans survive. If something felt uncertain or dangerous, the brain would run through different scenarios to prepare for possible threats. In that environment, overthinking was actually useful. But today, the threats are rarely physical. Instead, they are emotional. Fear of embarrassment, fear of rejection, fear of making the wrong decision. The brain still runs the same protective process, but now it applies it to everyday situations. Think of your mind like a system that learns from experience. Every situation you go through leaves behind information. Moments where you felt judged, moments where something went wrong, moments where you wished you had acted differently. Over time, your brain builds patterns based on those experiences. These patterns form what I call the inner algorithm. It's the automatic system your mind uses to predict, analyze, and respond to situations. Sometimes it works in your favor, but sometimes it traps you in loops. Loops of analyzing, loops of replaying, loops of imagining outcomes that may never happen. The key to breaking an overthinking cycle isn't forcing your brain to stop thinking. That rarely works. Instead, the first step is awareness. When you notice yourself replaying the same thought repeatedly, pause for a moment and observe it. Ask yourself, is this thought helping me solve something real? Or is my mind simply running a familiar pattern? Often you'll realize that your brain isn't solving anything at all. It's just repeating a learned response. Once you recognize the pattern, the thought begins to lose some of its power. Another helpful step is shifting your focus back to the present moment. Your mind might want to live in imagined futures or replayed past moments, but your body always exists right here, right now. Taking a slow breath, moving your attention to your surroundings, or even stepping away from the situation for a moment can interrupt the cycle. Over time, these small pauses start teaching the brain a new response. Overthinking doesn't mean something is wrong with your mind. In many ways, it's the result of a system that learned to be cautious, analytical, and protective. But like any system, it can be adjusted. The moment you begin noticing the patterns in your thinking, you're already starting to rewrite part of your inner algorithm. And sometimes the most powerful change you can make is simply choosing not to follow the same mental loop again.